On August 1945, United States dropped a bomb to the Hiroshima cities, and it was first ever bomb used during a war. It was during a World War II. But I don't know. We will not talk about that. We will talk about Hiroshima, Malaysia. What do you think about that? Hiroshima, Malaysia. Malaysian media call that disaster as a Hiroshima, Malaysia. So our case study number 2 is Bright Sparkle Firework Disaster, Sungai Buloh, Malaysia. What actually happened? It was a big disaster and was the first ever happened to Malaysia. This disaster is extremely bad. It destroyed everything, horrible and destructions. Why we call that this disaster? Even it's occur around the Sungai Buloh and the people around that. There's a lot of story. Disaster occurred explosion, a lot of explosion. If I'm not mistaken, it have a 2-3 time of explosion. But the effect, the story behind the disaster, the deaths, the traumas, the losses, the missing people during that cases. What the government do actually? Bright Sparkle Firework Disaster Sungai Buloh is a turning point for Malaysia to become a firework is become illegal in this country, in Malaysia. So the regulation and parliament agree with Akta Keselamatan dan Kesihatan Pekerja 1995 or Occupation Safety and Health Act 1994. So our team would like to talk about it and we will get through to these cases for this case. Let me start.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad FAZLI bin USIN. So for this part, I'm going to talk about the synopsis of the accident. So the tragedy of the explosion and fire of the Bright Sparklers firecracker factory occurred around 30 years ago, and the tragedy of the factory occurred in Sungai Buloh, Selangor on 7 May 1991 at 3:45 p.m. So in total, 26 people were killed and 83 people were injured in the accident. So the explosion destroyed 200 homes and as well as the window of the house in the Sungai Buloh area, causing the town of Sri Manja, Lara and Selayang to collapse. So the force of the explosion was terrifying, shaking the surrounding area and causing many houses to collapse and burn. So at the site, this is the photo of the explosion. And then thousands of victims were covered in red blood and hundreds of people flocked to the scene to look for relatives who were believed to be among those killed in the tragedy. And a kilometer away, the scene resembled but battlefield with the explosion of firecracker, piece of wood, iron, and house roof scattered everywhere. In fact, nearby factory and houses were also destroyed, as were pieces of the charred body. Due to the various of issue, more than 50 firefighters struggled to distinguish the blaze. Water pressure is too low, taps are too far away, fire spread too quickly, strong wind and some explosion make it difficult to extinguish the fire. And the nine ambulance from Kuala Lumpur Hospital and 5 from Sungai Buloh Hospital shuttle seriously injured victim to emergency care because of public concern. Some victims were transported to hospital in bloodstained rolly, lorry and vans. And then the rescue team faced a new threat on the third day of the search of victim when heavy rain fell for an hour at around 2:30 p.m., causing a chemical reaction at the explosive site to produce poison gas. And then the rescue operation then continue with they need to wear gas mask, and special clothing. So after 11 days, there were still embers appearing at the site of the explosion, but the authorities were able to control it and extinguish it immediately. So this is the photo of the explosion. So that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I am Clara, and for this part, Arun and I will be representing the observations and findings related to occupational safety, health, and environment. So, Occupational Safety and Health Act (OSHA) 1994 is introduced after the Bright Sparklers explosion incident. This act is run by the Department of Factory and Machinery, which is later known as the Department of Occupational Safety and Health in 1994. This act is responsible for ensuring the safety, health and welfare of people at work as well as protecting other people from the safety and health hazards arising from the work activities. So one of the observations made from the Bright Sparklers explosion incident is lack of safety management from the company, where firstly, the factory was constructed near a residential area, which is only 30 feet away. Then the company did not comply with the Explosive Act 1957 by using magazine, which is a storage building for explosions without approval. And then the company started manufacturing rockets and fountains without approvals. Next is storing finished and semi-finished products inside canteen of the company. And then storing chemical-based finished products in various buildings within the factory premises. And lastly, testing new products in an open area near dried chemical products causing fire sparks. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Arun. The second observation is factory department did not follow up with inspection. Statutory inspection was not followed up 2 weeks after the first inspection made upon installing new machineries in 1979. The second, periodical inspection in 1881 found out that the flush storage of material precaution against fire were bad, but no action were taken. Third, periodical inspection of hygiene and sanitary in 1984 was not followed up. Finally, the periodical inspection in 1990 found out that there were new machines installed without approval. Poor management from related authorities. Application to register the company was made, however, did not receive reply from Polis Negara. Then, a request was made to Polis Petaling Jaya and Fire Service Department to build a magazine, a building of storing explosive, but did not process properly by police and was approved by Fire Service Department without any inspection. Later, the police Petaling Jaya raided the factory due to fire incident in 1980, but did not arrest the management despite the violation of Explosive Act. Company requested to Land Office to change the land to an industrial lot. However, Land Office did not process the request properly, which was taken removed from meeting topic by Jabatan Kuasa Kerja Keselamatan Daerah JKKD, leading to another fire incident in 1984. Before 1985, Royal Malaysian Customs Department at Port Klang did not control the company importing barium nitrate. Starting 1985 until 1990, 4 pharmacies were sent to check the company. However, the pharmacies did not enforce the Poison Act 1952 effectively during inspection. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Aiman. I will talk about the lesson learned. What can we learn from this incident are first, respect and obedience to country, regulation and policy are obligatory and essential for the lawful continuity of organization operation. And then second one, to meet the minimum safety standard, the enforcement of uniform regulation and specification during design, installation, manufacturing process, inspection and maintenance, among other things, is required and should be enforced. And then the officials who have actual interaction with the company with the company's operation refused to uphold the policy and follow up on the suggestion steps. After that, while the ongoing dangerous source of firework has been removed in Malaysia, fireworks risks still occur on occasion during festivals and national events. Where there have been causing events like instantaneous cause, staff should search for a solution to attempt to prevent a fire explosion from occurring. The next one is to prevent a repeat of this incident, they must follow any act of legislation enacted by the Malaysian government. After that, the understanding of the laws, legislation, and the government's implementation of the law is needed to regulate the country's organization. The next point is following up the prescribed activities, such as decision is expected by both the organization's administration and the authority in order to correct any mistakes and avoid the accumulation of errors within the organization. The next point is near misses, incidents, accidents, concerns, advice, critical observers, and other alerts should be truly investigated and taken seriously also by the organization's administration at all levels and the appropriate authorities. The next point is security should still be prioritized during planning, building, and service, as well as safety reinforcement and cultural improvement. The next point is the management team of an organization and relevant authority must ensure that organizational and intra-organizational messages flow through the appropriate networks at the appropriate times. The next point is the lesson of the Peruvian tragedy must be remembered. As a result, the handling, packaging, location, and use of fireworks must be handled properly and managed during New Year's Eve festival and festive season. And the last one is the related regulation for imported fireworks items should be applied in all areas. An amendment of or study of the sparkler disaster caused by the violation, legislation and statutes, as well as uniform codes. That's all from me. Thank you.